Coming up on Theater Talk.
Now, Susan, I don't quote myself that much like Kanye West does, but there is one quote of mine that I like to share, and it has to do with what we're talking about. If you don't see yourself represented, go out and represent yourself. And that's what we do.
So without further ado, let's bring in the legend. Let's bring him to the stage, Michael Musto.
From New York City, this is Theater Talk. I'm Susan Haskins.
And I'm Michael Musto.
Michael Musto, you brought some friends with you today to our Halloween gala party.
I did. We have Daniel Nardicio, who's the co-owner of Club Cumming, the hot new East Village boîte, co-owned also by Alan Cumming. Yeah. I have Bridget Everett, the fabulous cabaret singer and the co-star of the movie Patty Cakes. And Bridget's pilot is going to be on Amazon November 10th. It's called Love Me More.
Love You More, but yeah.
Love You More.
Yeah.
And of course, Mr. Showbiz himself, Murray Hill, who's going to be at Joe's Pub in December.
Showbiz.
And Murray, welcome back to Theater Talk.
I know my career has skyrocketed since I've been on here.
Anyway, I love Club Cumming, not only because I perform there, Susan, but it is a kind of Weimar-esque place that emphasizes performance. It puts the spotlight back on edgy, quirky, offbeat entertainment.
Okay, so now what I want to know from all of you is why edgy, quirky, offbeat entertainment? What has drawn you into that world? Of all the things in theater that you could have chosen to do, Bridget, why are you doing edgy, quirky, quite sometimes explicit, offbeat entertainment?
Because I like to, I like cabaret as a contact sport, like a full contact sport, and like getting to know people in the audience. And I feel like the downtown world really knows how to get to know an audience, unlike any other performance. What's it called? A different. What's it called? Kind of performance style.
Yeah. You hitting on me on TV?
Now, when you were a young Bridget Everett,
Yeah.
did you think, I want to be
Before you
like...
were Grandma Mose.
Yeah, really? When you were young?
No, I mean in junior high school.
Yeah.
Now, did you
She
say,
didn't go to school.
I'm gonna be Julie Andrews, or did you say no?
Let me tell you, I love Julie Andrews, and we happen to have the same agent. I remember the day that she lost her voice, like people remember the day Kennedy was shot. It was, it was very traumatic for me.
Really a traumatic
and I love her, I adore her, but I also loved like John Belushi and Carol Burnett and Freddie Mercury.
And Andy Kaufman.
And Barry Manilow. I always wanted to go to New York, and I always wanted to be a singer, but not like a Broadway star. That's Patti LuPone's world, and I love Patti LuPone.
But let her have it.
But let her have it.
Yes.
But when I met people like Murray Hill, I was like,
Yeah.
this is it. This is what I want to be doing.
Well, you two I had at all my parties. I never paid you, but you always lit up my parties.
And I was never invited.
You gave us drink tickets, and
crashed.
we both went to rehab.
Now, Murray, you when I first became aware of you, you
sound
were
like my therapist.
Yeah.
Not when we met, when I became aware of you.
No, but you were called a drag king. Are you that anymore?
I'm just an it. Okay. Now, I think that's the least
Glad you said it.
offensive identification now.
But the world has changed.
The world has changed. I'm just Murray.
You
I'm
were
just Murray.
standout Murray.
I'm just Murray.
Yeah.
I do a little litmus test during the show.
All right.
I say, okay, this guy here. I see. I'm reading your mind. I'm thinking, he's thinking, is it a man or a woman? Is it a man or a woman? And I say, sir, the answer is no. And then I said, if you don't get that joke, it's to be the longest 2 hours of your life.
Now, Club Cumming was a hit right out of the box, and the first week, guess who took the stage? Paul McCartney and Emma Stone got on stage at Club Cumming and sang Part of Your World from Little Mermaid.
And then Paul did the harmonica song with the world's smallest harmonica.
So how did you get the word out to have Paul McCartney?
Well, I was the fifth Beatle. A lot of people don't know that. And so, Emma's, and it was in a movie with Alan and also in Cabaret with Alan. So she just said, I'm with Billie Jean King at Paul McCartney's concert, and we're thinking about coming to Club Cumming. And when you get that text, you're like, yeah, let's move some tape. So all of a sudden they just walked in, and it was like mayhem. We had Jack Aronson, the piano player, was playing on the keys. People were singing, and all of a sudden it went crazy. And they went up and sang. And
so speaking of duets, Now you're building a show around Michael Musto. And
Well,
yes.
Daniel recognized my incredible, immense performing talent and booked a duets night, which we already did, which was a benefit for SAGE. We're now doing another one on November 11th at 9 p.m., a benefit for Gays Against Guns.
Yeah.
Murray and Bridget have both crazily agreed to participate.
It's quite a
We have to.
Have you been to Club Coming yet?
We went together.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, when it was opening. Yeah.
What'd you think?
We saw some. It was shock and awe. It was really great.
and
It was like old New York. You know, it felt like
Yeah.
the New York when I first moved here. It was really fun.
Now, are you getting an eclectic audience, or is this a very
Very much so. These
special?
villages very like college students. So we're getting some college students, and we're getting some Hell's Kitchen queens that are coming over. What I like is, and
It's your dating pool.
Yes, exactly. What I like is that there's also a mixture. We end up getting little people coming. We had a bunch of little people come in the other night.
But you charge them full price.
Yeah, exactly right. We actually charge by the pound. So
Well, Bridget and I can't afford to go there, though.
no, we because radio stations calls coming in big swing. So a bunch of those people came down from the show, and every night it's something different. Your best friend Countess Luann came last night.
Now, who is Countess Luann?
She's from the Real Housewives of New York. She's the most famous fake countess in
It's
New
been
York.
on 20 seasons, Susan.
And we get
I've never seen it.
Club Coming. It's sort of like the Cafe Carlisle meets CBGB.
Oh, it is? It is. All right. Well, I knew CBGB's.
I mean, like for
I'm
my
not that
event, it's not cheap to get in. It's avant-garde, and yet
Does
it's
that mean we're getting
accessible.
paid?
yeah,
I told you you're getting $50.
an honorarium.
You didn't tell me.
totally.
I didn't find out I was
She's getting
getting.
$50.
Uh-oh.
I have two personalities. I need 100.
I gave you a drink ticket 10 years ago.
Now, what are you going to do on stage with Michael Musto in his gala show on November 11th?
I'm personally going to clear the room. Because they put me on last with Michael, so when they want everyone to leave, they're, all right, let's get Murray up.
No,
Murray and Michael will sing. The whole place will
We're
clear
doing
out.
a raunchy version of Lady is a Tramp, and with Bridget, I'm doing Don't Rain on My Parade by Barbra Streisand. Because in my mind, Barbara wrote it.
By Julie Stein.
Whatever, yeah.
All right. So what are you going to sing with him?
Lady is a Tramp.
Oh, you said that, lady. You said
Well, I didn't. He did. But
All right,
I'm glad you're listening.
But neither one of us is a lady.
No, I'm producing and directing at the same time. Now, all right. What? Oh, my director. I'm sorry, Catalin. I'm not directing. Now, listen. I want you to tell our audience what you're going to do on Halloween. For you first.
We're doing a party at Club Coming, which is
Yes.
a Halloween spectacular. Alan's going to be there, and some of a lot of people will be in costume. And it's one of the greatest nights I find for celebrities. They can go out and do anything.
Yes.
Because they just wear a mask and they can run around. So we're getting. It's not just celebrities. I'm not saying Club Coming is just that, but it's like we're doing this big Halloween party.
Now, Murray, I'm going to get psychologically incisive with you. Why Murray Hill?
What, for Halloween?
No, ever, all the time. Why Murray Hill?
Why do you live there?
Why do you live that?
No, why do you live in Murray Hill?
No,
All
I don't
right,
live there.
first of all, it's before 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Everybody take it easy.
But Murray Hill, you were born in the back of a taxi, but I also heard that you went to the School of Visual Arts and had a very different life.
All right, listen, Susan. Just
All right.
take it easy.
She's done her research.
Yeah, she's done her research. One line, very good. You opened up Wikipedia. Now listen, Susan, this is a better life. You know, you asked before why we do cabaret and downtown and all that stuff. No one else took us in. So it's much better to live this life than the other life where you get shit all the time, you get made fun of, you get this and that. This
We don't
way-
want you in this life either.
Yeah, they don't want me in this life, so now I just wear a custom-made suit for my grandmother's couch, and nobody bothers me, and I make people laugh. It's all much better. How's that for an answer?
Who do you,
Absolutely damn
who do you
good.
make laugh?
What about you, Bridget?
What about me?
Yeah, is it a better life?
This?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wearing the low-cut dresses that I saw at Club 54 or Studio 54 back in the day when I was growing up, and I get to sing whatever I want, do whatever I want, say whatever I
Killed
want.
on Jimmy Fallon.
Oh, thank you. And
Killed.
And we get to be on Theater Talk.
we're going to be on Theater Talk. We go from the Tonight Show to Theater Talk.
It's a logical rise in the show business food
Next
chain.
step, Robin Bird.
I wish she's still on. But she doesn't have a show anymore, does
No,
she?
she still
Really?
plays it though. I think as if it's new.
So would you
She
say
still
it
plays
wasn't a choice, your career trajectory, it kind of chose you in a way?
I honestly feel like when I saw Murray and Kiki and Herb and I moved to New York and I saw all these people, it finally made sense to me. I was like, this is the life. This is the world I want to be a part of. And you know, getting to be on Theater Talk with Michael Musto. I remember when I was writing something when I first moved to New York about how cool it was, and I thought, you know, Michael was like, that was like, if you could get in with Michael, like if he knew who you were and gave you like his seal of approval that you knew you'd made it. So
Yeah.
it's,
I lived
you
with
And
know,
20 years later, he'll make you sing a song.
Yeah, for $50.
but to be a part of that world,
It's
that
a benefit.
community. No,
No,
you
but
know,
I
like
am- I remember.
Sweetie and everybody, all
Yeah.
you know, our friend, the drag queen, like just people who were just like no boundaries and lawless and like, and all of a sudden you're like, wait, I can do that and well, maybe not make a living. It takes a while, but you know.
30 years later.
But we're doing it now. And Murray and I tour together, and when we go out and we're playing to these like mainstream audiences, people are so hungry for something that's different and original.
Now, Susan, I don't quote myself that much like Kanye West does and DJ Khaled and all these wonderful people, but there is one quote of mine that I like to share, and it has to do with what we're talking about. If you don't see yourself represented, go out and represent yourself. And that's what we do.
But I get to do theater talk with my guest co-host Michael Musto. How
I
fantastic
love doing theater talk
is
with you, and I
that?
can't
All
wait
right.
for Halloween at Club Cumming and November 11th, my Duets Deux night at Club Cumming.
That's it? We're done?
This is it. Any more thoughts?
I got up this early and I get 2 lines in?
You get to do one more. Got any more
Showbiz.
thoughts?
Love you, Susan. Love theater talk. Great show.
Yes, I love you all.
Honored to be here.
We're
Yeah,
very
this is
honored
really
to be
awesome.
Thank you, Daniel Nardicio, Murray Hill, Bridget Everett, and Susan Haskins. It's been a delight to co-host this with you,
Thank you, Michael Musto. Thank you, viewers.
Showbiz.
both of you.
Don't tell me not to live, just sit and putter. Life's candy and the sun's a ball of butter. Don't bring around the clouds or rain on my parade.
Don't tell me not to fly, I've simply got to. If someone takes a spill, it's me and not you. Who told you you're allowed to rain on my parade?
Hey.
Happy Halloween. I am Susan Haskins.
And I'm Jason Zinoman.
Jason is my guest co-host for the week from the New York Times, and very topically for Halloween, he is the author of Shock Value: How a Few Eccentric Outsiders Gave Us Nightmares, Conquered Hollywood, and Invented Modern Horror. Please introduce our guest, Jason.
Thank you. Well, we're lucky around Halloween to have 2 theatrical masters of horror with us. 2 people who have been scaring audiences around Halloween for many years. Tim Haskell, who is a producer, impresario of haunted houses and shows of many years, and this year of a show called This Is Real. And playwright, screenwriter, performer, and most importantly, the creator of Pumpkin Pie Show, which has its 20th anniversary year, also around Halloween. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
So we want to talk about what is scary in theater. And my first question is, when it comes to sort of scaring people out of their wits, what can theater do that other forms cannot? Or what can theater do better than any other form?
Well, I think you've got a living, breathing performer in front of a living, breathing audience member, and that in of itself, just the intimacy alone, I think for my money, makes it, tenfold more valuable than what film and literature can do. You just being able to see the kind of white of your audience's eyes and kind of tuck that fourth wall behind the audience member. I think just making it feel like this is it. We're in this together.
I mean, there's an element of danger that doesn't exist when you see a film, because the film was shot a year ago, is marketed and produced and edited, and now it's been delivered to the movie theater, and so nothing's going to actually happen to you, and you're supposed to know nothing's going to happen to you when you are being scared at the theater. But you still have an actor who has his own mind and feelings and emotions and how he or she feels that day, as well as the potential for things to just go sort of haywire. It adds its own level. So I mean, I think that the immediacy of it all and sort of the human element adds a level of danger that exists nowhere else.
Well, it's funny you said danger, because sort of the one argument that people always give for why do people like scary stuff? Yeah. And one argument is that people want a safe space to express fear that they have. But I hear another argument, which I find equally persuasive, which is that this overemphasizes safeness, that people don't actually like to be safe. They gravitate towards horror for something a little dangerous.
Yeah, it's sort of like people who do like a whitewater rafting trip or something. They still want to have like an experienced guide who knows where to go and take them to like the best ride that they can, or a roller coaster is sort of the same thing. That's been inspected, but like, So they tell themselves that they want that element of danger, but at the same time they know deep down inside that it's still a controlled environment, and it's got its levels of safety. But for them to sort of get into it, they sort of take my original argument, which is you never know.
Yeah, because the raft might pop up.
Right, exactly.
It might blow, or you never know when that rock is going to come through.
It really could. And and there's animals in the wild, and you don't know what's gonna.
Your boatsman is basically
there's lots of
some
things you can't
grizzled
control.
off-Broadway actor.
So you want the most controlled environment that still has a level of actual danger to it, but something that I think that you can handle.
So without giving spoilers, what's going to scare me in the pumpkin pie show?
Well, I'm talking directly to you.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to make you as much a part of the performance as whoever's performing.
Do you want to make me uncomfortable and unnerved by your presence?
I want to make a connection with you.
Yeah.
I want there to be a certain level of catharsis, not just for you, the audience member, but for me, the audience, the performer. I'm making you and your responses and your kind of engagement just as much a part of the show as whatever it is I'm doing under the lights.
What about you?
This is real. The title is sort of a quadruple entendre. One of the meanings of it is that when I did the haunted house I did a haunted house called Nightmare for 14 years. And one of the things that people would always ask me is like, what are you afraid of? And, it was one of the popular questions. And I would, I always had sort of my canned answer, rats. Rats actually really scare me. But a lot of people, you can't scare me. Nothing can scare me. I know it's all fake. And so the one thing that you can do is create things that are not fake. Like that are sort of literally happening and that have real stakes. Now, of course, I'm not going to actually brutalize or torture someone in real time. But what I can do is create things that are real, which is like separating people, pitting people against each other, things that are real to them.
How do you pit people against?
Well, in this one, what I'm trying to do in a lot of ways is create a real level of anxiety because it's a cat and mouse game. You're basically evading your captors. After you've sort of escaped them, you have to evade them, and you have to it's kind of like extreme hide and seek, where you have to sort of wait in a space, and then just like in a horror movie, as if you're a character in it. The bad guys are looking for you, and they're sniffing around, and they're looking around. So it's like, and if you get caught, there's actually a real repercussion. You get 3 deaths in my show, and so if they catch you, you're dead. Now no one's thinking that they're actually going to kill you, but you do know that like if I get 3 of these things, I'm sort of out of the game. So that's real.
Do you see this as a haunted house, a show, or a game?
Being who I am, I like to call it immersive theater because, I mean, there is, it actually has a 40-page script that goes with it. But in a lot of ways, it's kind of like a choose your own adventure immersive thing. Like if the audience does this, you say and do this. If the audience does that, ipso facto, you do that.
And are different audience members having different things happen to them?
Well, yeah. I mean, actually, there are multiple rooms where like you're split up. That's the other thing. So we do split you up from your friends, and the idea is that you have to get back to them. You have to reunite with them at some point.
Now, do you do hokey old haunted house things like having people crawl on grapes to be eyeballs?
No, I used to. I mean, I never did that, but I used to do, and I did a little trial run of this last year. And I just couldn't get the haunted house out of me. Like some of the hiding spots would have like an air cannon or like a water mister or like some sort of loud noise or a strobe light. But I was like, I'm really trying to create an environment that feels as real as possible and in a real, and if you were really captured by somebody, they wouldn't have all kinds of booby traps and puzzles and games. So it's actually like, I try to strip it of all of its haunted house element. So it's a haunted house. People are treating it like a haunted house when they buy the tickets, but it's very far away from a traditional haunted house.
So when we're telling people about it, what are they going to get?
Well, I mean,
You're getting abducted.
Come on
first
down.
of all. Is that right?
Come on down to This Is Real.
Well,
because
it's a simulated abduction. You get abducted, you have to unbind yourself, get out of your cage, evade the captors, save the girl, kill your captors, and get out of the building. I mean, that's basically the long and short of it.
That's a lot.
It's
How
a
long
lot,
is the evening?
It kind of does depend on them.
Oh.
But it's been averaging around 70 to 80 minutes.
And the pumpkin pie show, if somebody say, come on down, what are you going to get?
You're gonna get a little campfire on stage. I mean, we're in like a little rinky-dink basement black box theater, and there's
The best.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's where we've lived for the last 20 years.
Where's your rinky-dink black box theater located?
We are at Under St. Mark's, which is 94 St. Mark's Place between 1st and Avenue A. It's been our home for like 20 years now, and we have no sets, no props, no costumes. It's basically a group of performers spinning these kind of yarns. I've been writing these weird stories for years now, and I think of them as short stories, but they're first-person narratives. You get an actor behind it, and it becomes this kind of like shake and bake theater. We're going through a back catalog of like 60 some odd stories that we've done over the last 2 decades. There's stories that go beyond just like, there are no vampires, there are no werewolves. These are real people who have reached a certain kind of emotional curdling point that feels very like, I could be your neighbor, I could be the guy sitting next to you on the subway, but I have lost a certain grip on reality.
One thing that is notable about your shows, it's often working with something mundane or everyday, like a middle school boy talking about sex, or a political campaign, and then it's putting this sort of mundane thing in this flamboyantly frightening horror context.
Yeah, I don't want to be the boogity-boo guy. I want it to be something that is like profoundly unsettling, that is something you're going to take away out of the theater, and you're going to go home, and you're going to be in bed, and all of a sudden you're going to be like, as soon as you close your eyes, you're just going to say, oh man, that woman fed her daughter minced up, no spoilers. And like, it's if you can take something out of the theater as an audience member, then you've reached that kind of primal fear spot, which is a lot more poignant than the like.
Pop scares are ephemeral, whereas.
But what do you mean by pop scare?
Something jumping out.
Jumping out with the very. Are you the boogity boo guy?
I mean, I have a really broad audience.
Yes.
So some of them force me to be a boogity boog guy because they want it, they need it.
Okay.
I was more the boogity boo guy when I had the haunted house. It's like if you didn't have a level of things jumping out at you, at least at some point, people would be very disappointed. They
just have to be captured.
Well, now it's just really intense. Like I feel like people are much more scared by what I'm doing now than what I used to be doing. But still, people. They like to count the number of times things. I mean, I swear, I'd see that in like personal reviews. People, something jumped out at me 12 times, and they would like base it on their enjoyment on how many times something jumped out at them.
What's scarier in these kinds of shows? Something happening to you, or you seeing something horrible happening?
I've always wanted to have more empathetic moments in the shows as much as possible, whereas haunted houses don't. That's not something you traditionally do, but it was always super important to me that like not everything was always about something happening to you, that you would see something terrible happening to someone else, and that would make you, to your point, like feeling more haunted inside. Is if you can get them on board with the empathy, then like when things start happening to them personally, then I think it's much more
So are you
powerful.
putting in people, are you putting in actors who are being tormented in certain ways? Yes.
The whole first part of my show is you watching something terrible happen to someone else. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then the suggestion is that that's about to happen to you, and then you got to keep that from happening to you.
I would last 5 minutes.
I went to a show, one of your shows, where an audience member fainted. Has that happened? First of all, is that the only time it's happened, or has that happened before?
I mean, we've had a spectrum of experiences or reactions, from people saying, not for me, I'm gonna walk out, see you later, not my show, bye, to someone having an actual panic attack that night that you saw the show.
So what made the person faint?
We did this show called Seasick, and it was basically about a norovirus taking over a cruise liner. Very, very kind of ribald, fun and goofy experience. But there's a lot of talk about what a norovirus does to the body. And there was this poor gentleman in the audience who was a bit weak-stomached. And this is just talking about. There is no visual element to it. It is just like we're telling a story, we're spinning a yarn. And this guy had heard enough to feel a little queasy himself, and so he stands up, and this being one of those black boxes, your exit is just so happens to be on the other side of the stage, so he has to walk across the stage in front of everybody, and he passes out on the stage. And we're in the midst of the performance, and we thought he was maybe a little tipsy, had needed to find the bathroom, but this guy, he went down. We had to pause the show. Call. It just so happened to be the night that Jason Zinoman was there.
Can we pay you to do this every night?
Oh my
There's
God.
no greater compliment, right? That's
I mean, it was
the best
amazing.
you could get.
It was phenomenal.
That's like your standing ovation.
I
Someone
mean,
passes
it
out.
was in the press release the very next day.
Okay, so neuroviruses being captured and tortured and tracked.
Yep.
All these Halloween wonders are available to you. Thank you so much, Clay McLeod Chapman. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Timothy Haskell. Thank you so much, Jason.
Thank you, Susan.
We'll see you next week. Okay, I've got eyeballs for everybody.
Yes.
Hey.
I promise you'll each have your chance to be the star.
Our thanks to the Friends of Theater Talk for their significant contribution to this production. Theater Talk is made possible in part by the Frederick Lowe Foundation, the Corey and Bob Dinelli Charitable Fund, the Noel Coward Foundation, Carrie J. Fries, the Dorothy Strelson Foundation, and the New York City Department of Cultural Affairs.
We welcome your questions or comments for Theater Talk. Thank you